Hello and welcome again to the New Frontier podcast. We have a very exciting guest with us today. Joe, how are you?
I'm really good. I am baking in the sweltering Bulgarian heat, but I cannot complain.
Good. So our guest today is the founder of Trivium Group, a verified Amazon growth partner managing over 180 brands and 700 million in revenue. Additionally, he is a seven-figure supplement seller and owns his own MMA nutrition brand. He's a chemical engineer and an ex-MMA fighter, so very much found a market fit on that one. And he is hosting the Accelerate Party, which myself and Joe will both be at in Seattle. So hopefully we can ask him a bit about that as he comes on. But if you haven't guessed it, it's Mina. So Mina, welcome. How are you?
What's up, guys? Good, great. Thank you so much for having me.
Very excited to speak to you. I have a quick question for you. I noticed on your Instagram you seem to be on holiday. Are you still on holiday? You back working now?
No, that it just looks like it, but I'm working nonstop. I just go.
You're such a stalker, Max. You're such a stalker.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's a stalker. I follow him on Instagram. I don't know if that's not weird.
No, we just do like weekend. We do a lot of weekend getaways. So I don't work on Fridays. So like usually we'll leave on Friday, and then every Friday to Sunday will be something like really cool and exciting. It's gonna be even worse once we move to Miami, because then it's like we have all the Bahamas, the Virgin Islands, the Caribbean that's gonna be close by.
It's a tough life.
So your working pattern is kind of a 4-day week, and you have like this 3-day extension. So I saw it yesterday, so it must have been your lot. Where were you?
In Palm Springs. So we went. It was our anniversary, so we went to like a resort in Palm Springs. Yeah, thanks.
Very nice.
Amazing.
So I was right. I thought it was not. Yeah, at least. Well, I hope that was enjoyable. So yeah, maybe we can just start. I think a lot of or at least some of our listeners I know from our WhatsApp are going to be coming to Accelerate. Do you want to just touch upon what you're going to be hosting out there?
Yeah, so this is going to be our second Accelerate party. The first one, we called it Sellers in Seattle. It was a cool vibe, casino vibe. We had like gambling, cool stuff like that. This is going to be like 10 times bigger. So I've partnered again with Isabella Ritz from Ritz Momentum, and then Eddie Malouf from Bad Marketing, and Rich Goldstein from Goldstein Patent Law. And together we're doing a seller circus. So it is in this insane venue, very large. There's going to be like people, kind of like dancing from the ceiling type of thing, aerobatic stuff like that. And then there's going to be, so we're doing this cool thing where everyone's going to have a band, and the band is going to be changing colors. So if you're red, then, you have to go and talk to people who their band is also red. But then the like after I think a certain amount of time, the band will change color, and then you have to go and talk to someone else because you guys will have all different colors. So it's going to promote a lot of networking.
I love it.
Yeah, and it's gonna be obviously a ton of amazing food, open bar, great music, great people. It's we're maintaining the ratio as I believe 300 7-figure sellers, and then the like maybe 50 or so service providers plus like the host. So it's gonna be an amazing time. I think everyone should go. If you guys want a ticket, hit me up. And it's gonna be a blast. It's going to be the only really good after party at Accelerate.
Wow, that sounds amazing. I'm really, really excited. So we are all going to be at Accelerate, so it will be good times. I want to move the topic to something that I think most Amazon sellers right now are shaking with, which is Prime Day. And so happy Prime Day to everyone. And I guess my question, Mina, is how is Prime Day for you this year? Are you seeing anything new, strange, like big changes from previous years, or is it pretty much business as usual?
It's business as usual. I just want to remind everyone that you don't need Prime Day deals. So I personally did not do a Prime Day deal, and I doubled my sales, which means I added about $1,500 in profit. Which is so. A lot of people make the mistake of going into Prime Day like really thinking they have to discount their products and do all this stuff and spend more money on ads so they can make a lot more sales. But at the end of the day, they see that their sales, yeah, they made, they made, instead of $2,000 a day in sales, they made 10,000, but they also spent 5,000, and then they also discounted their price. So at the end of the day, it's like I'm left with the same amount of profit. Why did I sell so much? Or maybe I'm left with even less profit. So number one, keep in mind that you don't have to discount. You don't have to, actively participate. You can actually just be positioned well to, get all of that extra traffic from Prime Day and make more money. And then but if your product is a product that always performs well during Prime Day, I mean, this is going to be your time, right? And what I've seen is every single Prime Day, results have gotten slightly better, like better and better. So the Prime Days are working. The Prime Days are effective. A couple of things to keep in mind: make sure that you're not overspending. So if you are using ads, make sure that you have them under control. Because at the end of the day, yes, you could make a lot of sales, but if your ad spend is not, kept kind of at bay, you're going to lose profit. And at the end of the day, we just want to make profit, right? We don't care about just revenue numbers and, oh, I sold $30,000 on Prime Day. It's like, great, how much money did you keep on Prime Day? So that's one thing. And then the other thing is, Prime Day is not done until after Prime Day. So make sure that you have like retargeting campaigns set up. If you have DSP, you have it set up. Make sure you check your returns, and you have a software like Getida or whatever, or any one of those other softwares, because a lot of people are going to buy on Prime Day and then return. And if they're doing any funny business, you can at least say, hey, like, this wasn't returned the way it was supposed to. I'm not going to give you the money back, sort of thing. So just those things. And one thing I have noticed a lot this Prime Day is a lot of people are having issues with deals, and so someone, because of their seller performance, their seller feedback, they wasn't eligible. Other people, because their price, their discount wasn't deep enough, they weren't eligible. So I'm seeing a lot more glitches, and kind of reasons why the Prime exclusive discount wouldn't go live. So just make sure that you're always checking that the Prime exclusive discount is live throughout the day, and if anything is triggering it not to be live, you correct that right away.
Yeah. And as you say, like this, I think this Prime Day is forecasted to be 14 billion in sales. So that's 11% increase on last year from Adobe forecast there. And I think what you say, Mina, is completely right. Like, having worked at Amazon for 6 years, you have such an increase in traffic, and Amazon is doing all the kind of external traffic, trafficking, whether it's billboards or, Super Bowl ads, whatever it is, to drive people to the site. But actually, when they're on the site and they're searching for the product that they would want, I don't know, like a laptop, they still see all the other non-deals. And often the deals that, I don't want to say Chinese sellers, but, some sellers will do is actually not a good discount, and they'll see your product right next to it, at the same price despite the deal. So you benefit from that. So I guess my question is, if you're not kind of falling into this trap of like just spending loads of money on Prime Day because that's what you're kind of being encouraged to do from Amazon, how do you encourage your the brands you manage? How do you think about deals and promotions? Then what's the strategy?
Yeah. So if you are a brand that historically performs incredibly well during Prime Day, I encourage you to continue to do a deal. Discount the minimum amount that you need to discount. And the goal here is just, we're going to try and push as much traffic as possible without using ads. So 30, 45 days before Prime Day, we're already ramping up ad spend on certain keywords to rank better organically. So by the time we hit Prime Day, I can drop my bids by 20, 30%, maintain my organic rank, show up a little bit lower in the search results, because I don't want those window shoppers that are going to be at the top. And then from there, take advantage of like all the additional sales without all of the additional spend. So I'm hoping that I will double, triple, quadruple my sales and maybe 1.5x times my spend, right? That's the goal. Those are the parameters I'm looking for. Now, if you are a product that has never tried a Prime Day deal before, go for it, right? And measure your performance during the Prime Day deal, your first Prime Day deal. Give the discount, the minimum discount that you need to give, and then from there, evaluate the performance. If you feel like, hey, I made on average in the last 7 days $500 in profit, and on Prime Day I made 600, was it worth it? maybe if you didn't do a deal and if you just kept everything the same, just the additional traffic would have taken you to 700 or 800. Now, if you notice that your profits are less, then it's a problem. Now, if you notice that you did a Prime exclusive discount and your average day you sold 2,000, you sold 8,000 on Prime Day, okay, your product reacts well to Prime Day, and not all products do. I think any expensive product, like we had a golf range finder, they absolutely popped off. Like, I think they sold 20x what they sell in a regular day. So anything that you kind of wait in anticipation for a deal, that makes sense. Supplements, are they really gonna? I mean, all of our supplement brands perform better. They did at least 2 to 2.5 times more sales, but that's not, it's nothing crazy, right? It's just the extra traffic coming onto a Prime Day, onto the platform. But what we have, like gadgets and things like that, that are more expensive, like certain coffee makers and things like that, those ones perform incredibly well. So you just also have to understand your market. Like, it's not the same plan for every single person, but for me, we had like a client yesterday hit me up, and she's like, hey, like, I noticed that we're like pacing, pretty low when it comes to ad spend. Like, this is not usual. Like, what's going on? She's like, however, our Prime Day results were about, almost 4 times more than a regular day, which is how well we usually do in Prime Day. Except this time, this is her first Prime Day with us, we're spending 75% less on ads. And I said, that's my strategy. Is I don't care about making you more money. I care about more revenue. I care about making you more profit. So it's just, this is a change that needs to happen. And then leading up to Prime Day, if you have not optimized your listing, SEO, main image, listing images, premium A plus content, hopefully that's enough of a deadline for you of like, okay, you need to be in tip-top shape, because this is when it's really going to matter. So I think not a lot of sellers do that. I notice a lot of sellers kind of wait, to the last minute to optimize their listings, or maybe they just don't prioritize optimizing their listings, or they don't, have a plan or a way to go about it. You need to make sure that going into Prime Day, if I put your listing images versus your competitors all side by side, there's a clear winner, and it's your product.
Yeah, actually, I have at least two questions, but actually, I'm going to pick from what you last said, which is around listing optimization. As we all know, Amazon just rolled out Rufus to everyone in the US, and actually, I saw a really good post by Vanessa Hung in which she talks about the fact that Rufus seems to actually iterate or interpret the actual images in your listing. And so I guess my first question really here is, how have you seen the inclusion of Rufus as part of the search experience for customers have changed things in this Prime Day? And also, how do you advise your clients to think about optimizing their listings in sort of just classic old school way, or with AI in mind?
Yeah, very good question. So obviously we don't have enough data on Rufus to make like enough like conclusive statements, right? But what I would say is all Rufus did is just it proved what we were doing needs to be done more. So what were we preaching? We were preaching, okay, optimize your SEO, great. So it needs to be readable, etc., etc. You need to make sure that you're handling all the objections in the listing. So if clients are asking about one, or customers are asking about this, how's the flavor? Does it mix well? Is it good for digestion? Blah, blah, blah. All of that stuff should be answered. We've always been talking about that. Now it's like, oh, but now it's real, because it's not only customers reading it, AI is reading it. And then we always talked about when you're selling your product, you want someone to be able to make a decision through the images only. So as you scroll through the images, you want to make sure that on the images, you have the selling points. Why this is better, why it's better than everyone else. Now, this is something we've been preaching for a while, and it makes sense for humans because that's how humans are buying. Now it's even more, because now the AI is crawling it for those things. So before the human was crawling it, now the AI is crawling it. So I think that, I mean, again, it's too early for me to make any sort of conclusive statements, but I think that at this point, you now really need to start focusing on what you're supposed to be focusing on, which is, does your listing have all of the selling points? Does it handle all the objections? And through the images, am I selling my product, showing why it's the best solution out there for that problem that the customer has and why they're looking for the product? Does it show why it's better than everyone else? Does it handle all the objections in the images? And if you can do that, I think you're good with Rufus. I don't think you need to do anything special until we start understanding how AI crawls images and listings. And I think over time we'll start understanding, like it took us a long time to then figure out, okay, like Amazon crawls your title by looking at the first words first, and that's the one that's going to be the most important. And we created Helium 10 and we created Data Dive and all of this stuff. And so it's going to be a while until we do enough tests where we can figure out, okay, this is how Rufus is reading things, and this is how we can like optimize for Rufus, or at least see kind of the results of our optimization and how it affects Rufus. Like, oh, you were ranked number 10, with Rufus based on your content. Let me make some change. Who's ranked number 1? Oh, these guys. Okay, let me see what they're doing different. Let me take this up. Okay, now you're ranked number 2. Amazing. You know what I mean? That's where we need to get. But until then, I mean, just keep doing what you're supposed to be doing and don't worry too much about Rufus until we figure out like how it actually evaluates stuff.
So I'm gonna agree with you on some stuff, and then to play devil's advocate, I'm gonna push you on other parts. My agreement with you, Mina, is that absolutely, when using Rufus, you need to be thinking firstly and foremostly about selling to a human, because these AI, fundamentally AI is getting more and more intelligent, and at some point in the near or future, it's going to be more intelligent than us. So therefore, this, listings need to be written, as you say, that explain how the users use it, what the target audience is, dealing with the objections, all this stuff that you just mentioned to optimize for Rufus. My question to you is, following this logic and what we've seen in e-content, the old way of kind of doing stuff which isn't optimized for humans, which is kind of like keyword stuffing and SEO, like that's not for humans. That's trying to play to a trying to play a game on the A9 ranking, which no longer matters. So have you seen anything in terms of the lesser importance of kind of doing that keyword stuff, or what's your view on this? Do you think it'll become less important if you haven't seen anything yet?
Yeah, I haven't seen anything yet. So nothing that I can say like, oh, Rufus took over and now like the way that we used to keyword stuff titles is not working anymore, because we haven't seen anyone just like performance drop and then say, let's test like changing the because still writing our title with Data Dive and like getting the highest, rank juice, and with, pretty much all titles essentially are keyword stuffed if you think about it, for the most part.
100%, but not the ones that Amazon make.
Yeah, the one that Amazon makes is just bad. They're just bad for everything. But essentially, I haven't seen anything. But here's what I've seen. I've seen better performance using Cosmo. So what we've started testing is plugging in the title and the bullet points into Cosmo, and then looking at the positivity score. And
how are you defining Cosmo when you say plugging into Cosmo?
So like if you type in like Amazon Cosmo,
comprehend.
Comprehend. Sorry. So I don't know why I call it Cosmo. I think because Owana told me it's called Cosmo.
There's two things. You're optimizing for Cosmo, but you're using comprehend.
Yeah. Exactly. So when you go there, like we've started putting in, like I put in my title, MMA Nutrition, and I was using the vertical lines. And then, I was using words like with or stuff like that. So we worked together, me and Owana. We eventually changed the title a little bit, just, mini stuff. And we took the positivity score from like a 72 to like a 96. And we implemented that. And we've seen positive results from that implementation.
Wow.
So that's one thing that I'm starting to see. Okay, that's like a direct thing that you can apply right now into your business. Go to Amazon Comprehend and then plug in your title and then keep messing around. Like it'll tell you what components of the title, what components of the bullet points are actually contributing to a lower positivity score. So it says, oh, like this dash is the positivity score is a 6.62 or whatever. So you're like, okay, cool. Let me change it to like a dot or a comma, or the comma's positivity score is a 98. Great. And so you just tweak it, and it really helps guide you to do that. And then from there, you have a higher positivity score, implement it, and then see what happens. For us, we're seeing some positive, performance from that. And I think that's probably what Amazon is heading towards. Is it's going to start guiding people away from like the keyword stuffing and more into
Yeah.
readability. At the end of the day, it is still a cataloging system. So you can't get too far away from keyword stuffing, but there's always kind of a little bit of wiggle room. And I think we're gonna have to start using that wiggle room to be more readable, to be more, having that positivity score, things like that. But yeah, I mean, I don't think Amazon can ever get away from keyword stuffing, because how else are they categorizing, everything in their search results?
Yeah, fair enough. Actually, I wanted to ask you about the image side of things, because I have been like tinkering with Amazon Comprehend, and I find that yes, there is some some marginal change in how the AI perceives it and therefore in ranking. But I think that what I've seen is that actually when it comes to AI and Amazon, images are even more important. And so, and I have seen like when, for example, I do the test where I upload certain images through the sort of the new listing creation tool of Amazon, there's such huge differences between what Amazon sees and what is actually on the image. And I think that is probably where a lot of also sellers are seeing like, let's say, listings misclassified or not being ranked that well. Have you testing AI with images and like sort of what
We lost her a little bit.
Just yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
have you
yeah.
been testing them with images, Mina?
Yeah, we just discovered this, by the way. So I can't say it like the most we've gotten, as far as we've gotten, is we've discovered that this is a thing and we can actually, get a result from Amazon. So now I'm trying to figure out how do we incorporate that into our workflow with like our graphic designers, of saying, because the way that it works is it's a complicated, like, logistic. When you're a small company, it might be easy because you have like probably one or two people, but logistically for us it's complicated because we have a client that needs images done. So we have the strategist send in the main keyword, the top keywords. We also have the client send in the USPs, right, and all like the benefits and features and all that kind of stuff. And then all that gets compiled, given to the graphic designer, and who starts then incorporating them into the images. And then now we have that extra step of feeding it, but it's not as simple as just like, hey, we need to test it and see like what it does. Because now you have, like, before it used to be, okay, we're gonna test the image on PickFu, and then we're gonna test it on Amazon Manage My Experiments, and then we're gonna basically get results. Now it's your what if you start getting results that the AI is reading it better, and that the split testing is reading the other one better. And so now you're going to start having this dilemma of like, well, which one is actually going to perform better? The one that the AI is going to read better, or the one that the human is choosing? And so that's kind of like where we are a little bit stuck trying to figure it out, is because I mean, I have to set it up in a way that's like streamlined and efficient and scalable.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's a great place to start exploring.
Yeah. I mean, I love the guys at PickFu and Product Pinion, but what I would say, just from being an entrepreneur as you are as well, or both of you are, there's a difference between a customer saying, "Oh, I would love this," in theory, and the data of like what the customer actually purchases, and those are two very different mindsets. I know my, just from my entrepreneurial journey. So like, what I would bias towards, 100% optimizing for the AI, because that's what's going to surface you for roofers.
I would not actually agree with you, Max.
Okay.
This is
Yeah,
the thing.
yeah.
It's not- because
Yeah.
because the reality is that I've seen like really great hero images, or like one of the set of hero images which perfectly shows benefits really clearly. And let's say the AI just sees, for it was a supplement brand, the AI sees something on the product packaging of the bottle that it misreads. The image for human is perfectly optimized. Like it has all the benefits very clearly, like at a glance, okay, this is a great product. But something about the AI scanning that image, and specifically the Amazon AI, just doesn't read well. And when I, for example, test the same image with Claude or ChatGPT, perfect, but it's just the Amazon AI. And so I would say you probably are right, but
if you
in
believe,
6 months.
and when I joined in Amazon in 2016, 30% of searches started on mobile, and now it's 80% of searches start on mobile. And I believe that the Rufus ramp up is going to be even more extreme than that over the course of however many years it's been. I think we're going to see by the end of the year 50% of customers using Rufus, either voice, on voice or on text. I just believe this is a future. Conversational search is so much better, and people are going to adopt that. And in that world, I think you need to be optimizing for that. It's just my opinion. But Mina, where do you sit on
No,
the
I agree
debate?
with both of you. I agree 100%. I agree with Joe, because that's where I'm at. Right, we're at like, okay, it's perfectly optimized for a person. Why would I then make it worse optimized for the AI? But you make a good point, because if the AI now becomes more important, to like the AI finding the product becomes more important than the person, because like if people are just typing in the search results, and then your product shows up, okay, the person is going to choose yours, right? But if it's like they're going to say it in Rufus, and then Rufus is going to pull up the search results for you, okay, then I have to optimize for Rufus. So I think both of you guys are right. It just depends on what is the way and the path that search results will show up. And if everyone's still using typing it out, then we go with Joe's way. But if it's just everyone's using Rufus now, then we go with Max's way. And if it's 50-50, test both, I guess. Pick your poison and then see. Like, you might get more sales this way, you might get more sales that way. There's only going to be one way to find out. But I think I like it because it's very new and very exciting. And I think we have like an advantage now. It's a first mover advantage of whoever's utilizing Comprehend, whoever's utilizing Amazon's AI, like image crawling. You're going to have a leg up. Like, this is shaking up like, the biggest sellers. And I still think the biggest sellers are going to be the biggest sellers because of the number of reviews. I don't think that's ever going to go away. But I think, there is now an opportunity, and especially for newer sellers, to come in and optimize better than the older brands, and at least have a small slice of the pie.
Do you know what? I am thinking that actually when it comes to sort of that wider adoption that Max is talking about, when it comes to like everyone using Rufus on mobile to search, I think this will be highly also dependable on, for example, when ChatGPT rolls out voice, because I think absolutely right, Max. If ChatGPT rolls out voice with like the vision function, and that becomes kind of like a seamless way to interact with AI. And I think more and more people are doing these.
Who's got the most data out of all the big companies on voice?
Ooh.
Answer: Amazon and Alexa. And they've been Jeff Bezos has been thinking. I mean, credit to him. I remember like he has been pushing Alexa despite the fact that it is an absolute loss maker in terms of like the physical products.
Yeah.
And it's been very hard for us humans to, for the last 5 years, and all the investors, like, why the hell are you pushing this? Like, what is the point in this, right? Like, no one's using it to shop. But now it's like, well, hang on a second. They've got, billions and billions of data on voice, and so like, there's no way that this doesn't all come together, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Alexa is actually going to be pretty pivotal.
Yeah. So this is our favorite topic on this podcast. We discuss it every single podcast. Anything else to add, Mina, or we'll move on to something that we don't normally discuss, which is TikTok?
No, we can move on.
Okay.
No, I actually have one more question. Sorry, Max.
Okay, go on.
Sorry. I have to ask, Mina, like actually the last week there has been this trending screenshot of suggested bids at $340 or something like that on Amazon. I'm sure that you've probably seen it. And my question really is, like with CPCs going up every year more and more, have you seen then this year it's been kind of the highest, or have CPCs just in general for Prime Day remained pretty flat? What is kind of, I guess, when it comes to bidding aggression, like where are we at the moment in 2024?
Okay, so first of all, since when is whatever Amazon suggests good for you, right? Since when did you get a good, useful email from Amazon suggesting some stuff that's good for you?
Absolutely right.
So I don't think you need to ever worry about suggested bid. I think you need to make your own decisions. I don't think, there, I wouldn't worry about any of this stuff. And I always would say, focus on what you can control. So who cares if the CPCs are going up? What are you going to do about it? Are you going to quit your business? You're not going to quit your business. So focus on what you can control. Focus on creating a better product. Focus on optimizing your ads better. Focus on having a better conversion rate and a better click-through rate. And that's it. You're doing everything that you can. And if you're creating an amazing product, the playing field is level. Everyone's experiencing the same thing. So I would say stop worrying about cost per clicks, especially when as you grow, they become less important. You know what I mean? Because like initially when you're 80% PPC, or, and by the way, if you're looking at the ad console and saying, oh, yesterday I made $1,000 in total sales, 400 of them were PPC, and you think that number is accurate, it's very not accurate. So I wouldn't even look at that. But and it's almost impossible to tell what percentage of your sales comes from PPC and organic, because the attribution is off. But as you grow and as you get more reviews, and you're more and more people click on you organically, the cost per click starts mattering less and less. And so a 10% increase in cost per click year over year just means a 5% increase in cost per click. So let's say that, that means that it costs you $7 for a $30 product, or cost per acquisition. Let's assume that, and it goes up by 5%. What is that? 35 cents. Now it's costing you $7.35. Okay, so increase your price by 50 cents. That's inflation. Like, people talk about cost per click all the time. It's such a stupid thing to talk about. There's nothing. What can you do about gas prices? Do you go and complain about gas prices? You can't do anything about gas prices. You know what I mean? Like, besides buy an electric car. But like, if there was no electric cars, like, what are you going to do? Keep complaining about like the gas prices? It's the same thing with cost per click. I think it's a topic that no one should discuss. It's who cares what they are? They are what they are. If you don't like it, leave Amazon. If you want to be on Amazon, then deal with it. You know what I mean? And that's it.
I think we figured out which topic Mina is particularly passionate about. He absolutely destroyed my question. Sorry,
I literally
Mina.
get this question all the time.
About CPCs ever again.
No, you can ask me, but it's just I feel like there's no point,
Fair enough.
So, me and Joe are millennials. Mina, I'm guessing you're a millennial from So for me, I'm not on TikTok. I never go on TikTok. My girlfriend is Gen Z, I guess, or on the borderline, and she loves TikTok. So talk to us about TikTok. What TikTok Shop is. I imagine you're quite big on TikTok, given you're big on Instagram. But I don't know.
No, I personally, I'm not big on TikTok, but my brand is doing pretty well on TikTok. So, okay, very similarly, my wife is like addicted to TikTok, right? So she's always on TikTok consuming content, and also she uses it as a search engine. So she prefers it to Google. So she will essentially, like, we're going on a trip to like Monaco. So she's like typing in Monaco outfit inspiration, and then you're seeing that sort of content. So
same with the recipe. She does it. It's amazing. Like, I would never search like that. But yeah.
Me neither. I would never I'm like, hey, like, let's go do something fun in LA. And she's like, oh, I found these restaurants. And then I'm like, oh, we didn't cross check with like Yelp. So we went to a bunch of restaurants where the food was terrible. But like that. So, okay, let's talk about TikTok Shop and why it's a massive opportunity. So first of all, they created the best win-win scenario for everyone. So number one, they created a social platform that has over 1 billion people actively using it that are addicted to scrolling. Like, they created that the dopamine hits in a way, like they were the innovator of the short form content. Like Vine used to be something similar, but they took it to a whole other level. Their algorithms are off the charts, like smart into optimizing your content. So now you have people that are living on the platform. So you essentially have a customer base of 1 billion people, and then they're like, okay, cool, how do we make it even better? So they're like, they added the virality component, which means any normal person can post a video, and it could, you could have 500 followers, 1,000 followers, and it could pop off and go viral. You could get 100K, 500K, 1 million views. Normal people, and we've seen so many of those people, do that. And one of my friends does like the short form content for like Alex Hormozy and Grant Cardone and stuff like that, and he says that their content way outperforms on TikTok than it does in terms of views and impressions than it does on Instagram Reels. So there is like more virality on TikTok. So then they're like, okay, cool. Let's create like a much better business component of it. So they created the affiliate program where basically you have all these normal people, the normal day-to-day people that are anyways creating content. And then they said, if you want, you can create content with a shoppable link to a product, and if anyone buys from it, you're now making commission, which means a normal person with 500 to 1,000 followers can start making content, and if a few of these pieces of content go viral, you're making sales, you're making $1,000 $2,000 a month. Now that is life-changing money for 99% of the population, right? If they can make a couple $1,000 extra a month just by posting content they anyways were going to do, and they
Yeah.
get free products. So they created that, and an affiliate army that is literally like people who are ready to go. And so then, like, the story of like the guy who went to Bill Gates' son and he said, I like, you should marry my son. Why? Oh, like he works for like Bill Clinton or whatever. Like he basically like lied to both people, and they're like, okay, sure, we're gonna get. It's the same thing. So they went to sellers and they're like, hey, we have 1 billion users on the platform and we have an affiliate army that's ready to go. Do you want to sell your product here? And we're gonna make it super easy for you. And every single seller is like, hell yeah, like absolutely. And so now you have like the three components. So instead of you having to market your product and all this stuff, like with content like you do on Facebook and Instagram, you now have people that can create the content for you. So it looks very, very native, very like UGC, right? And it's not just UGC like it's UGC, it's so UGC that people think that it's a normal video. And so, and then they're like, okay, what's the biggest issue with using affiliate marketing? Do you guys know, like, what's the biggest issue in affiliate marketing?
Tell us.
Attribution, right?
Mhm.
Because you get an affiliate that's doing all this stuff, and then at the end of the month you're like, oh man, you made $120 in commissions. They're like, what do you mean I made $120 in commissions? There's no way. I definitely made more. So they eliminated that issue, and they said, now you're gonna, just you have the link, your people are gonna click and buy, and there's gonna be perfect attribution, and we're gonna make the shopping experience simple. So if you want to click and buy, I mean, you click on the product, it opens up a product detail page very similar to Amazon. So they took that great concept from there. And if you want to check out, you can use Apple Pay or Google Pay. So they made it incredibly simple, and they made the ultimate win-win scenario. So now any brand can go, I mean, not any brand, right? Like brands where you can tell a story through content where you're likely to see the product in a video and actually buy it. Brands are like can go from nothing or small marketing budgets to actually making a lot of money. And now here's the other edge that TikTok has over Amazon. With Amazon, you can never launch a product that is not being searched for. So give me an example of a product you heard that like someone like innovated, like something that was new and amazing. You guys know anything off the top of your heads? Okay, cool. So I had someone like a few weeks back, I had a call with them. They invented a patented pending energy spray. So you take that spray, you spray it in your mouth, it gives you energy immediately. And no one else has created a product like that. So I'm like, okay, cool, very innovative. Let's look at the search volume. There's no one looking for energy spray. They're
Yeah.
looking for pre-workout, energy drinks, whatever. That is the edge on TikTok, right? Because it's also disruptive marketing where you're scrolling on the platform and you could see a product that you've never heard of, didn't know that it existed, and you would be open to buying
Yeah.
it. And so like they ultimately created a really good platform. Now, I don't think that TikTok Shop is an apples to apples competitor with Amazon. I think Amazon is going to be ultimately the best marketplace. I don't see anyone that's a close competitor. Even Walmart, they're still like miles away. Here's why TikTok Shop is a threat, right? And this is what I believe. I think that people like Max's girlfriend and my wife are starting to change the way that they shop. Max and I don't know about you, Joe, but if we want to buy anything, we're going to go to Amazon or we're going to go to Google and search it. The younger demographic is starting to go to social platforms like TikTok and search stuff there. So if that starts becoming the norm, what do you think is going to happen, right? they're already living on TikTok. As they become older and their income rises, they're going to start their searches there. They're going to start buying, more from there. That is what the real threat is to Amazon. And Amazon is going to do its best to, kind of like keep up and like create its own social platform, and they're going to incentivize a bunch of affiliates. But like, no one's chilling on Amazon. Everyone is on TikTok. Everyone, like, you're bored, you pull up your TikTok, you start scrolling through it, which means your consumers are always on there. And that's why Facebook and Meta make so much money, is because you're chilling, you're on Instagram. So you're scrolling through, you see an ad, you're like, oh, this is interesting. You click on it and you buy it. That's why they make so much money. Amazon doesn't have that. Amazon is like, I want to buy something, I go buy it. It's like the store. So that is, I think, the real
Yeah.
threat. We can go into like how to set up TikTok shop and all that kind of stuff, but that's just
Yeah, just there's so much in there. I just want to try and recap. So you're saying that TikTok has 1 billion users, different proposition to Amazon. They have their kind of army of affiliates you mentioned, and also they're kind of reinventing customer behavior in terms of like social searching. So like a different proposition. So really like fascinating stuff. I guess my question to that would be, do you think sellers need to be cognizant of who like their audience is, and say like, if I have a Gen Z audience for my product, it should be on, it needs to be on TikTok? Or like, how do you think about who this is good for in terms of what categories or what that kind of thing?
Yeah, I think it's there's an easy way to go about this. If you want to know if your product would do well on TikTok Shop or not, I think the easiest way is to talk to some affiliates. There's a tool called Fastmoss, Fastmoss. That it's $70 a month or something like that, and then on there you can actually see products that are selling and how much they're selling, and also the best performing affiliates. So go into, first of all, look for your competitors' products, like type in electrolyte powder, for example, and see if they're selling. If they are, that's a good sign. Now, if they're not, it's still not bad, because again, it's a very new platform. So maybe the kind of the wheel hasn't been invented there yet. So the next step is go find some of the top producing affiliates and just have a conversation and say, hey, I want your opinion. This is my product. Do you think that it would do well? Affiliates, the ones that are making money, are the ones that are most in touch with the market. They understand, because they take pride in the content that they create. They're creators, so they can give you a good answer of, if you talk to 20 of them and they say, yeah, I think it's worth a shot, do it. If you talk to 20 of them and they're like, I'm not really sure, like, I don't know if I would promote a product like this, I don't know if my audience would vibe with it, then you have to be kind of aware, like, hey, maybe this is not gonna, you can still test it, but it's like, hey, there's a big chance it's not gonna work. Now, once you get a little bit of that validation, whether your competitors are selling or the affiliates say that it's good, if you're already selling on Amazon and profitable, I think it would cost you no more than $2,000 or $3,000 a month to reinvest into setting up TikTok Shop and actually not just breaking even, but becoming profitable. Because what I'm seeing is, you're not only getting the benefit of TikTok Shop and selling on TikTok Shop, you're getting the benefit of all that additional visibility, sending traffic to Amazon, like just naturally. Like, they see the product, they're like, okay, I'm not going to buy it on TikTok Shop. Let me go to Amazon, type in the name of the product. They see the reviews, they see the price. They're like, okay, I like this product, I'm going to buy it. And so that's what I noticed. I mean, I launched one of my products. It is losing $1,000 a month on TikTok Shop, but I am gaining like $2,000 in profit, additional profit, that I wasn't before on Amazon. And I tracked my branded search. My branded search is slightly up. So it's kind of like, if I were a seller and trying to understand, like, is this an opportunity for me? That's how I would go about it.
Actually, I wanted to go back to sort of the prediction about Amazon and TikTok of the future. And I guess I completely get the logic, but I have a little bit of a challenge, which is, we've been now through, like, I don't know, 10, 15 years of Instagram influencers. And what is happening is that we're seeing, generally on a broader level, the consumer getting a little bit tired of influencers who are abusing the system, because they are essentially recommending products that they don't really believe in. And so I guess my question really here is, yes, TikTok affiliate sounds brilliant when it's sort of new, but at which point do you think the consumer is going to realize that they're just being flogged any shit because they're getting a commission, and lose that trust? And so the question is is this really like long-term strategy like viable? Because Amazon has reviews, and they have millions of reviews, and that is kind of, there is a level of trust. So how would that translate in TikTok?
Yeah, so I don't think TikTok is about influencers. That's the big difference. So Instagram is all about influencers,
Mm,
people that have big followings and you are supposed to trust. TikTok is about random content. So no one in that content is asking you to trust them. They're simply creating content and you're just seeing it. And you are drawing your own conclusions. You can do your own research about the product. But I think
mm,
that's the big difference is and when you talk about fatigue, I 100% I believe that there's going to be a certain level of fatigue where, okay, if some random person just talks about the product, it's not going to perform well. But as with any creative platform, over time, I just think that the differentiator, the same way that it was with Facebook ads and Instagram ads, the differentiator becomes your content. So
Mm.
if you remember, we can go back in time. Facebook and Instagram ads, initially you needed like good content, simple good content that you would create yourself. Then it started becoming that's not good enough, simple good. You need really brilliant content to perform, and then that wasn't good enough. You needed like good user generated content, and then that wasn't good enough. You needed whitelisted content, which means not only is it content, but it's content that shows up natively on a creator's page. So it's like, as much as possible, you don't even feel like it's an ad, but you know that it's an ad. Now takes it to an entirely different level, because it is not an ad. These are people that are talking about their experience with products. So I think that you're probably well protected. And the only difference is, over time, there's just going to be a little bit of separation, and the best content creators will start showing up at the top. And that's when you're going to start seeing, like, okay,
Yeah.
it used to be that any John and Joe and Jill would create a content about my product, and it could sell. I would promote it with ads and it could sell. Now it's like, no, you actually need to find creators that are creating good content. And think about this, right? I don't know if you guys remember this, but do you remember when TikTok launched in 2020 and all of it was like dances and the content
yeah.
was pretty bad, right? Have you seen the content recently on TikTok? It's
Yeah.
actually way better. It's like way better. Like, there's much higher quality. So I think that's just the general
Mm.
progression of any creative platform. Is initially you tolerate the bad content, but more and more over time, like, they start having to curate more and more higher quality content to you to keep you on the platform longer.
Yeah, and to support your point, Mina, I would say that there is a precedent for this, obviously, which is kind of social commerce in Southeast Asia and these kind of places in the world. Like, it's massive there, and TikTok is obviously a Chinese company, or I don't know exactly. By the time people listen to this, how that will have um, worked itself out. But initially was a Chinese company, and they obviously have massive social commerce there. So there is a model which they're bringing over that does work. Mina, I want to get on to asking you about your own e-commerce journey and Trivium, but on the TikTok piece, is there somewhere people should go to any resources you guys have which they should check out? We can link that below.
Yeah, definitely on my Instagram channel, Mina Elias.
Okay.
You'll find a video that I did about TikTok Shop. Also, if you look up Carbon 6 on YouTube, you'll find a webinar that I did on TikTok Shop there. So that's step by step how to get set up and how to launch ads and all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna be putting out more content on my channel, but if you want to reach out to me personally, asking me about it or whatever, or need help setting it up, my email is Mina at triviumco.com. So you can just reach out to me.
Mhm. Cool. So we'll link those below. And yeah, now it'd be kind of, we've got 5 minutes left. I know we have to wrap this up. So we'd love just to know a bit about, you're an MMA fighter, e-commerce brand owner. Do you want to just give a bit of background about, how you got into all of this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I came to America in 2011. I was born in Egypt, grew up in Dubai, came to get my bachelor's. So got my bachelor's and master's in chemical engineering and chemistry, and then decided to work the corporate ladder. I worked there, not 9 to 5 for 5 years, was miserable, and decided to start a supplement brand, just out of my love and passion for supplements and being an MMA fighter and thinking that I could create a better supplement. At the time, I was doing keto, and I couldn't find any good electrolytes on the market. So I was actually drinking chicken broth every day, and it was painful, because all the other electrolytes just had sugar in them, and I couldn't do any sugar on keto. So I created that supplement, and I didn't know anything about Amazon. But then I decided, like, okay, let me try selling it in the gyms and stores. Gyms and stores were an absolute fail. No one wanted to take my product, so I decided, like, let me see what it's like to sell on Amazon. That's where I'm buying all my products. Why am I even bothering with gyms and stores? And so, and I remember back then I wasn't like charming, couldn't sell, nothing. I was just an engineer, MMA fighter engineer, like you can imagine, right? Didn't have any of the
Surely you're born with your charm, no? Is charm something that you learned over time? That's
Definitely. I mean, the
Okay.
my selling ability. I remember the first days when I created the product, I was shy to ask someone to pay me $15 for one bag, 100 servings of my product. Like, it's something definitely that was built over time. So that's why I understand why it never made it in stores, because I probably showed up and couldn't sell for shit. But anyways, so I got into Amazon, became fully obsessed about how to make it work, because I start seeing some early kind of sales. So got the product up on Amazon, started selling it, saw a little bit of results, went all in, and then about 6 months later, got fired from my job. Packed all my stuff, went to Egypt to save money on bills, and reinvest everything back into the business. And about a year in, the brand was profitable. I was, I think, making 10K in profit, about 94K in revenue, and I was able to live off of the brand. And then COVID hits, and I'm staying at home, and I'm like, you know what? Let me share everything that I know about, like, just like this, on podcasts. So start doing podcasts, became really big due to doing so many podcasts and sharing all of my knowledge in step-by-step kind of fashion. And aggregator hits me up. They want me to train their team. They heard me on the podcast. I was like vetted by a few people. So they say, listen, to prove that you know what you're doing, we want you to run one of our brands. So I start running one of their brands. 4 months later, they said I outperformed 6 other agencies. And at the time, this is a year of like me rejecting every single brand that came to me that said, do you offer services? And I'm like, no, I don't offer service. I mean, it's me and one employee, and like maybe an assistant, a VA. So like 2 people total. Like, I don't offer services. I'm only trying to do this for myself. I don't have time, and I don't want to deal with people, at the time. And so after that, working with the aggregator, I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is a thing. Like, everyone knows about me. Everyone keeps asking, and I clearly am outperforming those other agencies. And so, I went all in on Trivium. I created Trivium, and I started, kept the brand, made it into a client of the agency, and then just kept scaling the agency. And it was very tough. Like, we scaled quickly, right? And so I made every single mistake possible, hiring the wrong people, promoting the wrong people, making them managers, and then ruining the entire company culture, bad systems breaking, me thinking that I need to step out of the systems so the team can grow, and like realizing, no, I need to build even more systems. So I'm a guy, like, my growth is just because of like the amount of mistakes that I made. But yeah, now fast forward, we manage about 188 brands, and have 86, 87 employees in the company, and committed to being the best at Amazon, and now the best at TikTok Shop too.
Wowza. Wow, this is such an impressive journey, and it's so interesting as well, like how you have, I guess, reinvented yourself in so many ways. So really, really awesome.
Multiple times.
Yeah, and that is not easy. Like, actually, to constantly keep changing your I guess your hats.
Yeah, for
Really,
sure.
really cool. Nice. Well, I think we're up to the hour, Max. What do you
Yeah.
reckon?
So I guess we already have we'll link all the stuff you mentioned it earlier. Any other things you want to shout out, Mina? We'll link the accelerator. I don't know if you're still keto. If not, I look forward to enjoying a beer with you at the Seller Circus.
Yeah. No. I'm good now, so I can eat carbs with you.
Oh, great. So we'll do that. And yeah, it's been a pleasure to talk to you, and super useful, I'm sure. And yeah, thank you. And we'll see you in Seattle.
Yeah. See you guys in Seattle.